A little bit of nostalgia as I record this video on enums, because 2 years ago I recorded a similar video on enums. It was just defining the enum, how to use it, the different methods that are there, and the variable. But I've created an enum here of game types that has got action, adventure, RPG, strategy, and all that. Several options, which is not so much advisable. When the options become too many for an enum, then you realize that it should be a table relation rather than an enum, an option that can be changed in that case. So it should, okay, as we all know that an enum should be for values that are not changing, values that will be there for a long time, maybe the order status, maybe released, open, such values that don't really need an update oftenly. And so when you look at this table, we do have a table for the game record that now stores the enum. And when you validate the game type, we are just basically taking the value of the enum in a format. When you use the format, we are able to populate the game name. So let's try, maybe for this, we can say maybe our platform, to just give it a different whatever our platformer, to give it a different caption. So we do have a page as well that will be able to do that. And this video, we are going to basically take it from a string text, to an enum. We cannot directly be able to do that. And enum, we can be able to do implicit conversions, but it's not advisable. It has been enabled for backward compatibility, but it will get there with us where it will be an error. So we should focus on explicitly converting any value to the enum whenever we have a text, and this can be useful in the scenarios where we need to do importations. And when you're importing into an enum, you definitely have a text, and maybe you're importing from Excel, you'll find yourself having the user will be given the name of the enum, and once they have the name, they can be able to do the importation into that particular table that we'd like to import into. So once we have the text, this is the enum name. So in our scenario, we'll be typing in the enum name and be able to populate the enum value or the game type here for our scenario.
Hii ni Tech na Msangi ya jishinde.com.
So let's create a trigger in this table for onValidate. And what we need, the enum has got methods, so we need the index of an enum. Remember, there's an index and an ordinal of an enum. So the index is, maybe this is index 0, 1, 2, 3. The ordinal can be anything. It can be 30, like 47. It should be unique, yes, but we can define whichever number that we want. So I've used these different numbers just to show that there's a different, we can use whichever ordinal that you want. You can say that this is ordinal value 110, and it's not necessarily the index 11 or index 10. So those are differences in the enum, especially when it's extended and the user has been able to do to be able to get a different value from it. So with the index, remember, we can always get the enum value in form of a list of text of ordinals, and a list of text of the values. So with a list of text, we are speaking of a list of text of names, or the names. So when we use this, we can say that we can use the notation index of the enum name to get the index. So if by the time when I say so this is the similar to how we use the database notation for getting the instance of this particular enum. So the instance method of names returns to us the value names in form of a list of text, and we are getting it from the enum name. But remember, it can generate a runtime error, so it's always good to say that if the enum game type dot names dot contains, if it has the enum name, then we should be able to do something with the index. We can get the index here first, and we can also be able to get the ordinal, which will similarly be the enum of game type dot ordinals. Now we can get it from the index that we have been able to fetch from the names, because we are typing in a name which is more user friendly. You can't, it's not advisable to tell the user to be typing in an ordinal. And so now we can say now our game type, which is an enum, it will be an enum still of the same game type, dot from integer. Now we are able to convert, to get the value of this enum from this ordinal. And yeah, it's the same as saying that we don't need to basically define an enum in this way, like say that this is an enum of game type. We don't necessarily need to do this. Game type, and then I don't know why it's giving it me. So we don't need to necessarily do this for us to be able to operate. We can basically operate using the enum notation. So once we are done with this, we should sort of just validate this game type so that we can be able to run the code in the onValidate trigger of the game type. And that's the basic simple way of being able to convert from a string of text to an enum, and making sure that there is no error. So at least we should have a message here that says it doesn't contain a value else in the else, but okay, this one we haven't handled, but you can quickly test and see this example of how to get it. There we are, and when we look at the game records, we can basically insert a new one and sort of say maybe platform. Is it? I don't know if it's part of it. The name is there, but it hasn't populated anything. It should be, let's say, idle. Because it wasn't containing, so idle has populated because it is contained. We should basically have a message that says either it's there or not. But once we key in and using the contains, we are able to get to it. And even if we type something that is not having a value, maybe we should throw an error to handle that. But this one really helps when you would like to work with enums, because you need to really explicitly define and do the conversions. So that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that you don't miss the next one.